trusted without borders, and we walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without
Jamarcus Stanford. I'm a junior here at Rush College, and I have done some self-harm and had suicidal thoughts.
Okay, Jamarcus, so my first question is, how old were you when you self-harmed?
I was 13 years old when I first tried to the self-harm that I tried to do was hang myself. So I was 13 when I first tried it.
So what were you trying to get out of that self-harm?
I was just trying to get rid of the pain, and I felt that no one truly cared. So I was like, if they really don't care, then I'm gonna give them, reason not to care.
What was it that led to your self-harm?
Being bullied and feeling like no one was on my side because, like when I talk back against my bullies or try to go against them, they'll all gang up, and then like when we went to the principal office, they'll all say, "Oh, it was his fault. He started this. He started that," and the principal would believe them. I actually got suspended because, they were picking on me, and I defended myself, and I got suspended for that. And so even with people in my family, like I let them know what happened sometimes, and they'll be like, "Well, you should have did this, and you should have did that." I'm just like, what?
What kind of bullying did you go through?
Physical, mental. It was more so all around. I got shoved in lockers. I got spat on. I got called names that and the thing is, like, calling me names really doesn't get to me. It's more so when you just diminish my name or just throw me in the dirt or under the bus.
Okay, how many times did you try to self-harm?
It was twice, at the most twice. It was when I was 13 and when I was 15, and it was more so like I tried to hang myself twice. But unfortunately, fortunately, I'm gonna say it like that. Fortunately, the rope snapped twice. Like it wasn't even strong enough to leave a mark around my neck. So
what made you what helped you overcome all of this?
my caring mother, my caring stepfather, and it was actually I'm a quarter like Miss Stovall, the video games. I had Mario Kart and Soul Calibur, and also had basketball, the actual sport, not the game. Well, the game as well. That actually helped me get out of the depression that I was thrown in due to
So the video games helped you cope
yeah,
with it.
yeah, more
Is
so.
there anything else that helped you get out of that and just made you say, I'm done with the self-harm?
Drawing, writing poetry. I was actually close to finishing a book, but I had to stop that because they found a way to pick on that as well.
Okay, any advice for the people who are currently dealing with self-harm and suicidal thoughts?
Be strong, and don't be naive. I was naive, and don't try to go for acceptance either. That's mostly where I messed up. I was too busy trying to fit in instead of trying to find who I was. Find yourself and find things that'll get you out of it more frequently. Find either drawings, read a book, meditate, go for a jog, run, lift weights. Lifting weights also helped me. But just do something. Don't sit and let the anger build. Take your anger out on something. If you need to buy a punching bag, which actually helped me out a lot as well. If you need to go buy a punching bag, go buy a punching bag. If you need to go learn how to use a bow and arrow to practice, just go hunting every now and then. That helps out as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
My name is Donald Aaron, and I'm a junior here at Rusk College, and I have experienced self harm and have had suicidal thoughts, and also has attempted suicide.
Okay, Donald, how old were you when you first self-harmed?
My first experience with self harm was when I was 12 years old. At that time, I was struggling with the acceptance of my mother's death, and we moved from a small town from where I grew up in to a suburban life. And I grew up a very sheltered life, and I was in a school environment where it was dominantly Caucasian. So transitioning from a Caucasian environment to a dominantly African American environment was definitely a culture shock. And the kids knew that I was different from the way that I talked, the way that I carried myself, and my knowledge on certain things as opposed to their knowledge on certain things. So those were easy targets for them to pursue me in, and the amount of it was overwhelming. And from me being picked on to me being physically assaulted to the point where I was being pushed, kids constantly trying to pick a fight with me, it became overwhelming. So I resulted in experiencing cutting. That was one of my first ways of dealing with it. And me, I was a mama's boy. So any problem that I had, I would always go to my mom about. And with her not being there, I felt alone. I felt helpless. I didn't feel I had a confidant that I could confide in and trust. Even though my father was the legal guardian at the time, I didn't really know him because they had joint custody, but my mom had primary custody. So when she passed and transitioned to him being the legal guardian, it was different for me from being under maternal advisement to a paternal advisement.
So what were you trying to get out of your self-harm?
I was trying to make myself feel better, ease myself from the pain. At first, it hurt, clearly, but me cutting myself gave me a sense of euphoria. Like, with me cutting myself, I felt that I was punishing myself in a justifiable way for not being good enough, not being knowledgeable enough, not being able to defend myself against bullies. And in terms of that, I just began to do it more and more silently. My parent, my dad still doesn't know to this day. My family doesn't know to this day because I hide it very well.
Did you deal with self-harm in other ages, like growing up?
I did transfer out of that school back to a dominantly Caucasian environment in terms of the school system, but I still was struggling with the death of my mother. I was 11 years old when she passed, so I still resulted in cutting, but even then, when you get used to it after a certain amount of time, it becomes ineffective to you, so you find more ways to deal with that. And if around the time of my mother's birthday and her death was so close together, there was a time when I was 14 and I attempted suicide. I took pills, sleeping pills, and it's just one of those deals. It got to a point to where I missed my mom so much that all I wanted was her near me or to be with her. So, trust and behold, I tried
Okay.
overdosing on sleeping pills.
When was the last time that you tried to self-harm?
I will say probably my sophomore year in college back in 2011. It's very funny in terms of that experience because my friends at the school at the time, they walked in on me trying to cut myself. And that time I was actually trying to nick an artery, trying to end it. But the second that they walked into the room because we were close and we all traveled in pairs, they saw me with knife to my wrist, and next thing I know, 3 niggas are tackling me and trying to get the knife away from me. And I was clearly hysterical because it was also a time around my mom's death, and they had to calm me down. They talked me through it. So that's pretty much the last time that I did. So I guess I was about 20.
So what made you stop, or what made you just say, I'm done with self-harm? And
It would have to be about 25, because eventually I had manic episodes, but my last manic episode was a breaking point. Like, I was hospitalized for a week and a half because I was suicidal. I was under psych watch, I should say. And after I got out of the ER, or the psych institution, I was asleep one day, and it's weird as it sounds, I had a dream that my mom was in it, and she and I talked in my loft at the time. I was living in an apartment loft, and we really sat there for like hours for what it felt like. And she was sitting there talking with me. I was telling her everything that I'd been through, all the accomplishments, all the struggles that I'd been through. And she was telling me that you can't live in the past. You can't dwell in the past. I'm not here. You have to find a way to move forward, and you do have that way to move forward. You have a nephew that looks up to you. You have a nephew that's on the way. You have little cousins that are looking up to you because you're the example. You're the one that they follow. You're the example they follow. Your sisters, they follow you. Your dad depends on you more than you know. So you got to be able to find a way to deal with it, accept it, move forward. And from that point forward, because I remember it, because as the dream was ending, she was fading away. I didn't want her to go. She told me, "You're fine. Stop crying. You'll be fine. Just keep on going." I woke up crying, and from that point forward, I was pretty much good.
so any advice for people who are currently dealing with self-harm and suicidal thoughts that you have?
Life can get hard. Fact. But that doesn't mean that you have to let life control you. You control your own life. You control how you get through your obstacles. It doesn't always have to end with the ultimate demise of yourself. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you are way stronger than what you think you are. You just have to realize it and tap into it.
Okay. One more thing. What are some coping skills that helped you?
Whenever I wasn't self-harming, I did try and find other avenues. One avenue I did find was music. I would pop in music, and then I would walk to the beat of the song that I was listening to. Whenever it's not music, I go to the arts in terms of theater. I love acting. It helps me escape my reality and step into another reality. And whenever I am not doing either of those, I just sit in silence.
Okay, thank you so much.
Me when my trust is